Okay, good morning. It's time for you to switch into reading workshop. You should be giving yourself a quick self-assessment and thinking about how your behavior is going today. Remember, I'm counting on you to be on your very best, okay? So make yourself proud and make me proud too. So today we're going to look at a story called Martin's Big Words, and this fits really nicely into our decades unit, but we're going to use it today to help us practice main idea and supporting details. Your substitute has passed out to you 2 half sheets of papers. These are 2 strategies that we're going to use. This one is backwards. Bullets and boxes is one we're going to use to help us keep track and hold on to the story. We also are going to use this one as a strategy to remember what is the story mostly about, to collect those key details as you read. Take a minute, pause the video, glue both of these into your notebooks. We're going to use them today. Glue both of these into your reading notebooks. Do that now. Now that you're back, we're talking about RI 3.2. This is main idea and supporting details. We are working to determine the main idea and use the story details to recount them. That means to remember them, to support what the story is mostly about. Support means to prove, to back it up. What tells you that's what the story is mostly about? So that's what we're working on today. We're going to listen to the story, Martin's Big Words. I'm going to turn that on now. Be listening for what do you think the story is all about? If someone said, what is this book? And you'd say, oh, it's a book about, and that's the main idea. We're going to be listening to that story now. I'm going to flip my screen and you'll listen to Martin's Big Words.
Today, we are going to read Martin's Big Words, The Life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., written by Doreen Rappaport and illustrated by Brian Collier. Everywhere in Martin's hometown, he saw the signs, white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad, until he remembered what his mother told him. You are as good as anyone. In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father, and he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He said together when others said separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. In 1955, on a cold December day, in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit. She said no, and was arrested. Montgomery's black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in rain and cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. When the history books are written, someone will say, there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, Black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. White ministers told them to stop. Mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop. But they kept on marching. Wait. For years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. They were jailed and beaten, but they kept on marching. Some Black Americans wanted to fight back with their fist. Martin convinced them not to by reminding them the power of love. Love is the key to the problems of the world. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him and his family. His house was bombed. His brother's house was bombed, but he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped, because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world. And people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words, not fists. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot. He died. His big words are alive for us today. The end.
Okay, so that story that was mostly about the life of Martin Luther King Jr. So if I were looking at this anchor chart, I would think to myself, what was the story about? That was about the life of Martin Luther King Jr. And I could use each finger to name the important details that I heard in that story. So I might think about the bus boycott. That was an important detail. I might think about when his family was being mistreated for being different or for standing up for their rights. Those were important details. If you were using the boxes and bullets, in the box would definitely be the main idea. The main idea would be that this story was about his life. And the key details underneath would be the things you remembered that made his life move forward. Okay, so today, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this story about carnivorous plants. So think about the word carnivore, an animal that eats meat. So a plant is carnivorous. That's a weird word. You're going to read more to find out about that. The main idea will be very clear to you. The worksheet beside it, I want you to set them side by side, and you want to think about what is the main idea, and it tells you step by step from the first paragraph. Then you're going to read the second paragraph, answer and jot on the paper, read the third paragraph, and then answer and jot on the paper, and keep going through the fourth and the fifth. This is going to cause you to read slowly. This is going to cause you to think while you're reading. All of those are good things that readers do. Main idea, you're working on what is it mostly about, and then finding the sentences that informed you, that told you that's what it was mostly about. Okay, so good luck. Start reading about carnivorous plants and read carefully.